Good day, grade 9. So for today, we will have the discussion of the last lesson we have for this quarter, which is quadratic inequality in one variable. A quadratic inequality is an equality that contains a polynomial of degree 2 and can be written in any of the following forms. Ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c is less than 0. Ax squared plus bx plus c is greater than or equal to 0. And ax squared plus bx plus c is less than or equal to 0, where a, b, and c are real numbers and a is not equal to 0. Its solution set is the set of all x values that makes the inequality true. The graph of its solution in the number line is an interval. If the roots of the associated quadratic equation are real, then they are the critical points in the graph of the solution set. Okay, so how to find the solution of an inequality in one variable? So first step, write the inequality in standard form. Next, find the roots of the associated quadratic equation. Third, plot the roots in the number line. If the roots are real numbers, they are critical points that divide the number line into intervals. First, the interval to the left of the critical number, the interval to the right of the critical number, and the interval between them. If the inequality uses less than or greater than, draw open circles to indicate that the critical points are not included in the solution set. But if the inequality uses less than or equal to or greater than or equal to, draw solid dots to indicate that the critical points are included in the solution set. And for the last step, determine which interval contains the solutions. Choose a test point, not the critical point, from each interval. Evaluate the quadratic expression using the test point. If the test point satisfies the inequality, draw a ray or segment in the interval containing the test point. Okay, let's have some examples. First, find the solution set of x squared plus 7x plus 12 is greater than 0. So for the first step, write the inequality in standard form. Since naka-write naman na siya, punta na tayo sa second step. Find the roots of the associated quadratic equation. So yung sign na to, yung greater than sign, palitan lang natin siya ng equal sign. Siya na yung associated quadratic equation ng quadratic inequality na to. So we have x squared plus 7x plus 12 equals 0. Then, find the roots of this equation. So this equation can also be written in factored form as quantity x plus 3 times quantity x plus 4 equals 0. So since we have here two factors of this quadratic equation, we can easily find the roots of this equation. So gamit ang zero factor theorem. So first factor, we have x plus 3 equals 0. Simply our x here is negative 3. For the next factor, we have x plus 4 equals 0. So another x value, we have negative 4. So for the roots of the equation, we have negative 3 and negative 4. Next step is to plot the points on the number line. The roots of the associated equations are negative 3 and negative 4. These 2 points are the critical points that divide the number line into intervals. So we have here the number line. Ipa-plot lang natin yung negative 3 and negative 4. So ang intervals na sinasabi natin, the interval to the left of negative 4. So we have x is less than negative 4. So lahat ng less than kay negative 4 para sa part na to. Next, we have the interval to the right of negative 3. So dito naman, lahat ng number na malaki kay negative 3. And for the last interval, we have the interval between negative 4 and negative 3. So lahat ng number between negative 4 and negative 3. Okay po. So next step is to evaluate the quadratic expression using the test point. So, magkakaroon tayo dito ng table for the interval, test point, evaluate, and conclusion. So for the interval, we have 3 intervals here. First, we have x is less than negative 4. So again, lahat ng numbers na mas maliit kay negative 4. So maraming pwede. Pero this time, pili lang tayo ng isa, kahit alin dyan. So let's have negative 7. So let x be negative 7. So ang gagawin lang natin, isa-substitute lang natin ang negative 7 sa ating quadratic inequality. X squared plus 7x plus 12 is greater than 0. So, substitute negative 7 to x. We have negative 7 squared plus 7 times negative 7 plus 12 is greater than 0. Simplify. Negative 7 squared is 49. 7 times negative 7 is negative 49 plus 12 is greater than 0. 49 minus 49 is 0 plus 12. So we have 12 is greater than 0. Is 12 greater than 0? Correct. So this one is true. So for the conclusion, this part is a solution of the quadratic inequality. So for the next interval, we have the interval between negative 4 and negative 3. So lahat ng number that is greater than the negative 4 but less than negative 3. So lahat ng number na nasa pagitan ng dalawa na yon. Again, maalin. So this time, pili lang tayo ng isa and let's have negative 3.6. Okay, so x is negative 3.6. Then, substitute lang natin yung negative 3.6 sa ating quadratic inequality. So, we have negative 3.6 squared plus 7 times negative 3.6 plus 12 is greater than 0. So, we have 12.96 minus 25.2 plus 12 is greater than 0. So, we have negative 0.24 is greater than 0. Is this correct? No, this is false. Meaning, this is false. Negative 0.24 is less than 0 dapat. So, for the conclusion, this one is not a solution. So, ibig sabihin, hindi solution ng quadratic inequality yung interval na to. So, for the last interval, we have this interval to the right of negative 3. Or all the numbers that is greater than negative 3. So, again, marami tayong pagpipilian. Pero, laging itong tandaan nyo, kapag kasamang 0 sa pagpipilian, laging yun ang gagamitin natin para mas madali ang substitution. So, this time, let us use 0. Okay? So, x is 0, then substitute lang natin siya dun sa ating quadratic inequality. So, we have 0 squared plus 7 times 0 plus 12 is greater than 0. So, we have 0 plus 12 is greater than 0. We have 12 is greater than 0. Is 12 greater than 0? Yes. So this one is true. Meaning, this is also a solution of the quadratic inequality. Next step, draw a ray or segment in the interval containing the test point. So again, dun sa tatlong intervals na meron tayo, ang solution lang ng inequality doon ay yung left ng negative 4 and right nung negative 3. So, mag-graph ulit tayo. If the inequality, katulad ng sinabi kanina, uses less than or greater than, draw open circles to indicate that the critical points are not included in the solution set. So, since ito yung ginamit natin, we have this equation. So, ang ginamit natin ay greater than. So, ang gagamitin natin ay open circle. Sa tapat ng ating roots, negative 4 and negative 3. Then, gawa lang tayo ng ray para ma-indicate natin yung solution. Again, ang ray natin ay nandito sa left ng negative 4 and sa right nung negative 3. And ito na po yung graph ng ating solution set ng quadratic inequality x squared plus 7x plus 12 is greater than 0. Next example, we have find the solution set of x squared minus 15x is less than or equal to negative 2x. First step, write the inequality in standard form. So, transpose lang natin yung negative 2x. We will be having x squared plus 2x minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. Then, find the roots of the associated quadratic equation. So, palitan lang natin yung sign ng equal sign. Then, this quadratic equation can be written in factored form as quantity x plus 5 times quantity x minus 3 equals 0. Then, to find the roots of this equation, let us use the zero factor theorem. So, for the first factor, we have x plus 5 equals 0. So, x is negative 5. For the next factor, we have x minus 3 equals 0. We have x is positive 3. So, we have the roots negative 5 and positive 3. Okay? Plot the points on the number line. So, again, we have negative 5 dito and positive 3. So, ang interval natin this time, the interval to the left of negative 5. So, lahat ng number na mababa kay negative 5. Next, the interval to the right of 3. So, lahat ng number na mas mataas kay 3. And the interval between negative 5 and 3. Lahat ng number between kay negative 5 and 3. Next, evaluate the quadratic expression using the test point. So, again, we have this for the interval, test point, evaluation, and conclusion. So, for the first interval, we have x is less than negative 5. So, pili lang tayo ng isang number that is less than negative 5. So, marami tayong pagpipilian, but this time, piliin natin ang negative 6. So, x is negative 6. Then, we will be using the quadratic inequality natin. X squared plus 2x minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. Substitute negative 6 to x. So, we have negative 6 squared plus 2 times negative 6 minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have 36 minus 12 minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. 36 minus 12 minus 15, we have 9 is less than or equal to 0. Is it true? So, this is false because 9 is greater than 0 dapat. So, for the conclusion, this interval is not a solution of the quadratic inequality. Okay pa? Next interval, we have numbers between negative 5 and positive 3. So, again, pili lang tayo ng isang number sa pagitan ng dalawa. So, since nandito yung 0, piliin natin yung 0. Okay? So, x is 0. Then, substitute lang natin siya sa ating quadratic inequality. So, we have 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have 0 minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. We have negative 15 is less than or equal to 0. Is this correct? Yes, this one is true. So, ibig sabihin, this interval is a solution of the quadratic inequality. Okay? For the last interval, we have the right of positive 3 or lahat ng number na mas mataas kay positive 3. So, again, pili lang tayo ng isa sa kanila. Let us choose 5. So, x is 5. Then, substitute lang natin siya sa ating quadratic inequality. We have 5 squared plus 2 times 5 minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have 25 plus 10 minus 15 is less than or equal to 0. So, we have 20 is less than or equal to 0. Is this correct? False. This one is false. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, this interval is not a solution of the quadratic inequality. Okay po? So, next step is to draw a ray or segment in the interval containing the test point. So, again, ito yung tatlong interval natin and base dun sa ating ginawa kanina, ang solution lang dito is yung gitna. Okay? Between negative 5 and positive 3. So, again, we have here the number line. Our quadratic inequality is x squared plus 2x minus 15 is less than or equal to 0 since ang ginamit natin dito is less than or equal to, ang gagamitin natin sa pagpa-plot sa point ay solid dots to indicate that the critical numbers are included in the solution. So, since ito yung ating solution, ang gagamitin lang natin ay segment. Okay? So, highlight lang natin. So, meaning this is the solution set of the quadratic inequality x squared plus 2x minus 15 is less than or equal to 0.